Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real dating after a narcissistic relationship ain't no walk in the park. You come out feeling like you've been through a storm and all you want is sunshine, but your heart still got these clouds hanging over it. When you come out of a narcissistic relationship, one of the biggest hurdles you face is learning to trust again. And I don't just mean trust other people. I mean trust your own feelings, your own judgment, your very sense of reality. Because here's the truth. Narcissistic relationships don't just hurt your heart. They shake the very foundation of who you think you are. Imagine you've been walking on solid ground your whole life, and suddenly the floor drops beneath you. You're left floating, unsure if what you see around you is real or just a trick of your mind. That's what a narcissist does. They manipulate you so skillfully, so persistently, that you start doubting yourself. You wonder if you're too sensitive, if you're imagining things, or worse, if you're the one who's broken. Narcissists are masters at gaslighting. They tell you one thing, then deny it the next day. They make you feel guilty for things you didn't do, then accuse you of not caring enough. When you try to speak up, they twist your words or make you feel selfish for having needs. Over time, this constant emotional confusion wears you down until you can't trust your own feelings anymore. Your mind becomes a battlefield where doubt and fear wage war every day. So when you finally get out, stepping back into the dating world is like stepping into a minefield. You want to connect, to share your heart, but there's this loud voice inside screaming, "Be careful, don't get close, they'll hurt you again." It's exhausting. You second guess every compliment, every kind word. Is this person really interested, or are they just pretending like the last one? Is this genuine affection, or are they just trying to control me? You find yourself checking and rechecking everything because your trust muscle has been seriously weakened. What makes it even harder is that trust isn't just something you hand over once and forget about. Trust builds slowly, piece by piece. But after a narcissistic relationship, those pieces are scattered and cracked. You have to put them back together, and that takes time and patience. You might feel lonely during this process, but rushing it will only cause more damage. You have to be gentle with yourself. Understand that feeling suspicious or guarded is your brain's way of protecting you. It's not a sign that you're broken. And here's another thing. Sometimes you don't just lose trust in others, but also in yourself. You might hesitate to believe your gut instincts because you've been trained to doubt them. Maybe you start questioning your values or your standards because your ex told you they were too much or not realistic. You have to relearn how to listen to yourself, how to honor your feelings without shame. That's a crucial part of rebuilding trust. Trusting that your feelings matter, that your voice matters, and that you deserve to be heard and loved just as you are. This is why healing from a narcissistic relationship is so important before diving back into dating. It's not just about avoiding another bad relationship, it's about rediscovering your ability to connect authentically with others. When your trust is broken, you might push people away or keep your guard so high that no one can get close. On the flip side, some might fall into the trap of clinging too hard, trying to find validation quickly to fill that emptiness inside. Both extremes are signs of unresolved pain. You have to find a balance again, knowing that it's okay to be cautious, but also okay to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to open your heart slowly, carefully, but without shutting it down completely. And that means giving yourself grace when you stumble, when doubts creep back in, or when you feel triggered by certain behaviors or words. A helpful way to start rebuilding trust is to set small, clear boundaries with new people. Boundaries act like guide rails to keep you safe and give you space to observe without pressure. If someone respects your boundaries, It's a good sign they value you as a person. If they push or dismiss them, it's a warning flag. Trust grows when your boundaries are honored consistently. Another way to rebuild trust is to practice self-trust. When you notice your mind spiraling into doubt, pause and ask yourself, what evidence do I have for this thought? Is this fear based on the present or my past? Often you'll find your fears are echoes from the old relationship, not reality now. Being mindful of this helps you slow down and choose responses based on truth, not trauma. Also, lean on supportive friends, family, or even a counselor if you can. Sometimes hearing validation from someone outside your experience can remind you that you're not crazy, that your feelings are real and justified. And that can be incredibly healing. The bottom line is this: trusting again after a narcissistic relationship is hard because you're not just healing from heartbreak, you're healing from manipulation that rewires your brain's sense of safety and truth. It takes courage to step back into the dating world, but each small step forward is a victory. With time, patience, and care, you can rebuild your trust in others and in yourself, and create relationships that are based on genuine respect and love. Rebuilding self-worth after a narcissistic relationship is one of the toughest challenges you'll face, but it's also the most important step on your journey to healthy dating. When you've been with someone who constantly belittled you, ignored your needs, or made you feel invisible, your self-esteem takes a serious hit, and that damage doesn't just disappear when the relationship ends, it lingers. Sometimes quietly, sometimes loudly, in the background of your mind. You might start thinking, am I really worthy of love? Maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm the problem. Those thoughts creep in because narcissists are experts at planting seeds of doubt. They don't just say hurtful things. They make you feel like their criticisms are the truth. Over time, that creates a story in your head about yourself that's full of flaws, mistakes, and shortcomings. The truth is, your self-worth isn't tied to how someone else treated you. Your value as a person is inherent. It's who you are, not what someone else made you believe. But getting to that truth after a narcissistic relationship takes deliberate work. It means challenging the negative self-talk and replacing it with kindness, patience, and understanding. One of the first steps is to recognize the lies you've been told and start questioning them. When your ex told you that you weren't good enough or that your feelings didn't matter, that was their problem, not yours. They projected their insecurities, their need for control onto you. You don't have to carry that weight anymore. Healing your self-worth means reconnecting with yourself on a deeper level. It means spending time alone and learning to enjoy your own company without judgment. It means finding activities and passions that remind you of your strength and the unique gifts you bring to the world. Whether it's art, sports, writing, or volunteering, doing things that make you feel alive can help rebuild your sense of identity and confidence. Another important part of rebuilding self-worth is surrounding yourself with people who genuinely uplift and support you. Narcissists often isolate their partners from friends and family, leaving you feeling alone and unsupported. So, when you're ready, reconnect with the people who love you for who you are. These relationships can serve as mirrors reflecting your true value back to you. They remind you that you are deserving of kindness, respect, and love. You might also find it helpful to set new standards for how you expect to be treated. After being in a relationship where your feelings were dismissed or your boundaries were crossed, it can be easy to settle for less than you deserve out of fear or habit. But rebuilding self-worth means refusing to accept anything less than respect and honesty. It means learning to say no without guilt and walking away from situations or people that don't honor your value. It's normal to have setbacks along the way. There will be days when the old voice in your head tries to convince you that you're not worthy, When that happens, remind yourself that healing is not linear. It's okay to stumble. What matters is that you keep moving forward, even if it's just a small step. Practicing self-compassion is crucial. Be patient with yourself, just like you would be with a close friend going through a hard time. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it seems. Maybe today you stood up for yourself in a situation where before you would have stayed silent. Maybe you allowed yourself to feel joy without guilt. These moments are signs that your self-worth is growing stronger. Sometimes professional help can make a huge difference. Therapists or counselors trained in trauma and recovery can help you unpack the emotional baggage left by a narcissistic relationship. They can provide tools and strategies to rebuild your self-esteem and help you develop healthier patterns in future relationships. Remember, rebuilding self-worth is not about becoming perfect or fixing what was broken. It's about embracing your whole self, flaws, scars, and all, and recognizing that you are enough just as you are. When you come from that place of self-acceptance, dating becomes less about trying to prove yourself to someone else and more about sharing your true self with people who appreciate you. In time, you'll find that your self-worth becomes your strongest shield against toxic relationships. When you truly value yourself, you won't tolerate manipulation, disrespect, or neglect. You'll have the courage to walk away from anything that doesn't serve your happiness and the wisdom to seek out partners who see and cherish your worth. Dating after a narcissistic relationship isn't just about finding someone new, it's about finding yourself again. And rebuilding your self-worth is the foundation that makes that possible. Recognizing red flags after a narcissistic relationship is one of the most crucial skills you need to develop, and yet it can also be one of the most difficult. After being entangled with someone who manipulated and controlled you, your sense of what's healthy and what's harmful can get clouded. Narcissists are experts at disguising their true nature, often appearing charming, confident, and attentive at first. That's what makes spotting the warning signs so important, and why it's natural to sometimes miss them or excuse bad behavior, especially early on. The first step in recognizing red flags is understanding what they really are. Red flags aren't just about dramatic, obvious things like constant lying or cheating. They can also be subtle behaviors that slowly chip away at your sense of self and your boundaries. For example, if someone dismisses your feelings or belittles your opinions, that's a red flag. If they're controlling about who you see or how you spend your time, that's a red flag. If they react with anger or guilt tripping when you try to set limits, that's a red flag too. One reason these signs can be so hard to notice is because narcissists are skilled at making their behavior seem normal or justified. They might say, "I'm only upset because I care about you," or "You're too sensitive," or "I just want what's best for us." These phrases sound loving, but what they're really doing is manipulating you into doubting your own experience and accepting unhealthy behavior. Learning to see past these words and look at the actions behind them is key. After a narcissistic relationship, you may find yourself doubting your own perception of events. That's a common effect of gaslighting, the feeling that maybe you're overreacting or misremembering what happened. But it's important to trust your instincts. If something feels wrong or uncomfortable, don't ignore it. Your feelings are valid and they're there to protect you. Sometimes recognizing red flags also means reflecting on your own patterns. Narcissistic abuse can make you more vulnerable to certain types of people, especially if you haven't healed fully. You might unconsciously seek out partners who fit the same toxic mold because it feels familiar, even though it's harmful. Awareness of this pattern is the first step to breaking it. Ask yourself, are you attracted to people who dismiss your needs? Do you tolerate disrespect because you're afraid of being alone? Are you afraid to speak up because you've been told your feelings don't matter? Another red flag is the pace of the relationship. Narcissists often rush intimacy and commitment, pushing you to move faster than you're comfortable with. They use charm and attention to create a quick bond so they can gain control before you've had time to really know them. Learning to slow down and take your time is a powerful way to protect yourself. If someone pressures you to move fast emotionally or physically, that's a warning sign to pause and reassess. Healthy relationships thrive on respect, trust, and mutual care. So if you notice patterns where your needs are consistently ignored or minimized, that's a red flag. If communication feels one-sided, where you're always giving and they're always taking, that's a red flag. If you feel like you have to walk on eggshells to avoid conflict, that's a red flag. Recognizing these signs is not about becoming suspicious or cynical. It's about being wise and protecting your heart. It's okay to ask questions, to seek clarity, and to demand honesty. Don't settle for vague answers or inconsistent behavior. A person who respects you will be transparent, patient, and understanding when you express your concerns. Sometimes red flags can show up in small ways that seem easy to overlook but add up over time. Maybe they frequently cancel plans without good reason, or they refuse to introduce you to important people in their life. Maybe they don't take responsibility when they hurt you or make excuses for bad behavior. These are all signs that your partner might not be as committed or respectful as they should be. One tool that can help is keeping a journal or notes about your interactions, especially early in a new relationship. Writing down what happened, how you felt, and how the other person responded can help you see patterns more clearly. It also reminds you of your own experience when doubt creeps in. Lastly, remember that recognizing red flags also means being ready to act on them. Awareness is powerful only if you use it to protect yourself. That might mean having tough conversations, setting firm boundaries, or even walking away from a relationship that isn't right for you. It's scary, yes, especially after you've been hurt before, but your safety and well-being are worth it. In the end, learning to spot red flags is about reclaiming your power. It's about trusting yourself enough to say no to anything that doesn't feel right and yes to relationships that honor and respect you. It's not always easy, but with time, practice, and self-love, you'll get better at seeing the signs early and choosing love that truly lifts you up. Taking it slow after a narcissistic relationship is absolutely essential, yet it's often one of the hardest things to do when you've been through the intense, chaotic, emotional roller coaster of loving someone who manipulated and controlled you. Your heart is craving stability and connection. You want to feel wanted, needed, and loved again, and fast. But rushing into a new relationship before you're truly ready can lead to repeating old patterns, making the healing process even harder. One of the reasons taking it slow is so important is because it gives you the time and space you need to heal. Narcissistic relationships don't just leave emotional scars, they often create deep wounds of trauma and mistrust. When you dive too quickly into dating, you might find yourself emotionally triggered by behaviors or words that remind you of your past. Without enough healing time, these triggers can cause you to react in ways that sabotage new relationships or push people away. Taking it slow means allowing yourself to rediscover who you are outside of a relationship. After being with a narcissist, your identity might feel tangled up in their needs and manipulation. You may have lost sight of your own likes, dislikes, boundaries, and dreams. Slow dating gives you the chance to reconnect with yourself, your values, and what truly matters to you. This self-rediscovery forms a strong foundation for healthier future relationships. It also helps you develop clear boundaries. Narcissists often cross your boundaries without respect or concern, so it's crucial to learn how to set and maintain them firmly. Moving slowly means you can test your comfort levels with new partners without pressure, and observe how they respond to your boundaries. A person who respects you will understand and honor your pace, not push you to move faster. Taking it slow also allows you to build trust gradually. Trust doesn't grow overnight. It's nurtured through consistent actions over time. When you rush, it's easier to ignore warning signs or overlook behaviors that aren't aligned with your values simply because you want to fill the void left by your previous relationship. But when you give yourself time to observe and understand your new partner, you can make clearer decisions about whether they are trustworthy and respectful. Another benefit of slow dating is that it reduces pressure on both you and your partner. Without the rush to commit, you can enjoy getting to know each other without the weight of expectations or fears clouding your judgment. This relaxed approach encourages open communication and honesty because there's no rush to perform or pretend. It's also important to acknowledge that moving slowly might feel frustrating, especially if you're eager to find love or companionship. You might wonder why you can't just get over it and jump back into the dating pool with full confidence. But healing isn't a race, and emotional recovery after a narcissistic relationship requires time and patience. Pressuring yourself to move faster than you're ready for can backfire and delay your healing. During this slow process, it's helpful to keep a clear focus on your own well-being. Prioritize activities that nurture your mind, body, and spirit, whether that's therapy, meditation, exercise, creative hobbies, or spending time with supportive friends and family. The more grounded and whole you feel on your own, the less likely you are to seek validation from others prematurely. Taking it slow also means being honest with yourself about your feelings as they arise. If you notice anxiety, fear, or confusion around intimacy or commitment, don't dismiss those feelings. Instead, explore them. What's behind them? Are they echoes from the past, or are they signals about this new relationship? This self-awareness helps prevent repeating the mistakes of the past and empowers you to make healthier choices. Another key aspect is recognizing the difference between loneliness and readiness. After a narcissistic relationship, the feeling of loneliness can be intense. You might crave companionship so badly that you overlook signs that a new partner isn't right for you. Taking it slow helps you differentiate between the desire to be with anyone and the readiness to be with someone who truly respects and supports you. Slow dating also encourages building emotional intimacy gradually. Instead of rushing into physical or emotional closeness, you create a space where trust and understanding can deepen naturally. This slow build often leads to more stable and fulfilling relationships because both people have time to show their authentic selves and earn each other's trust. Lastly, taking it slow is a form of self-care. It's a way of telling yourself, I matter. My feelings and boundaries matter. I deserve time to heal and choose wisely. It's an act of reclaiming your power and protecting your heart from further harm. In the end, slow dating after a narcissistic relationship isn't just about pacing. It's about prioritizing your healing and growth so that when love does come again, it's healthy, genuine, and built on a foundation of self-respect and true connection. It's about honoring your journey and trusting that the right relationship will be worth the wait.